This is my life. I did this to myself. Thank you, Windows updates.
Mm.
I should probably wait till we see we go live.
I'm on Twitch. I'm literally seeing somebody just go through Google Street as their stream.
As their stream.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a notification you started the call, Cesar. I see that on here. Well done. NOFODcast live. Uh-oh, some driver thing's going off. Bear with me.
You'll
It's
be
just
alright.
my phone. There we go. Cesar says clothing is required. Mm-hmm. All right, we're in there.
Renee's in there already.
On the YouTubes?
Yep.
Them guns.
There we go.
Oh, dang. Oh, don't get us banned for ASMR.
Well, I had to look up ear licking. I was like,
Risque.
what is the ear thing?
Oh,
Oh, the 3DO?
Sure.
That's what it's called. The ear thing's
Yep.
called a 3DO. 3DO.
does it play all the Army Men games?
And
Or-
Hog Wild.
I don't know, but that 3DO ear thing costs just as much as a regular 3DO though. So
back in the day, the original price tag.
it's about, I think those ear things are about like $500.
Dang. So it was the first price drop in 3DO.
That came with the
Awesome.
interactive software. You talking about my thing here? Or the ASMR things?
The ASMR thing. Ooh. Everything's muted. Maybe, yes.
Everything but you.
Hopefully me soon. And the game is starting.
This is the darkest timeline. I brought us to it.
I don't know. This is why this is the moment I've been waiting for. I got 5 screens for this reason.
Here you go.
And you're going over
And
here.
we'll be done by the time it actually matters.
Like last week, y'all will be watching the last 2 minutes of the game.
I got a
play
date
out.
next door, so I'm going to be running next door by the pool.
Oh, gosh.
We got anybody with us? 5 minutes in? Somebody messaged me.
Maybe the OGs, the original 3.
I see 3 viewers. Thank you, 3.
Did you get my Attack on Titan tweet?
I don't think so. Was that for Brant?
No, that was for you, Bergman.
I
I tagged you
played
in
disc
there.
golf until like
Yeah.
30 minutes ago, and now I'm here. Well, 40 minutes ago, because I had to start Windows updates 10 minutes before we started.
See, I can't send it to Brant because Brant wouldn't get it. If you watch that Attack on Titan tweet, which involves the Hawks and Giannis, then you would get it. Which a lot of people are crazy because they use that as
Deep
a reference.
dive.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 164 of the NOFODcast. It's finally time. It's finally come about 30 minutes late, but hey, we get there when we can. Tonight, the Avengers aren't protecting your IP address. I saw this and it's hilarious. Kim Swift joins Microsoft. EA reportedly is resurrecting an old IP. It could be back from the dead areas of space, maybe.
Possibly.
Nintendo is making it rain forever. Entertainment. Path to Victory for another game comes in July. Well done, Brant. And we're continuing our Path to Victory schema there.
It
Late
should.
June, early July, Game Pass games have been announced. I'm Richard Bergman, joined this week by Brant McKee. Brant, what are you doing here?
Just waiting for you,
Building the
Richard.
news.
Well,
Waiting for Windows updates, right?
waiting for you to get through all those
Yeah,
Windows
so of course
updates.
I fire up the PC about 15 minutes before we start, and it says this will take a while. Prepare for your computer to update multiple times. So I had to keep everybody up to date on my Windows installation progress, that being myself, Brent McKee, and Cesar Concepcion II. Cesar, welcome to the show.
Hello, first time here. Hajime Mashite.
First time here, you started the call, so we appreciate you not only coming on board for this podcast for your first appearance, but for also starting the call and getting everything going before while I was delayed.
And me dropping out the call as soon as I started it later because
Your
shenanigans.
mic was weird, but now your mic is less weird, so that was an improvement on weirdness. On the weirdness scale, where would you rate your audio setup on a 1 to 10? 1 being weird as fuck, and 10 being, what is the term? Criterion Collection audio. I'm a solid 8 myself.
I don't know, like a 6. D's get degrees, man.
There you go. You made it through.
Yeah.
We hear you. We hear
Yep.
you. That's enough, right? That's all we need.
I could do scuff recordings if you want out in the backyard with my phone.
We want you to do raw audio recordings, not scuff.
No, scuffed. We're gonna go full
Scuff.
all in.
Brant, what is your audio quality, 1 to 10? You did step up your game, so make sure you give yourself some credit, because you started off on the bare minimum, and then you immediately stepped it up. You're like, oh, these guys are going to need my input. They're fucking struggling without me. I guess I might as well buy some decent shit and contribute.
I'm gonna go ahead and put myself at hopefully a 7 or an 8.
Solid. Right above Cesar's average.
Yep.
It's nowhere near the early 2000s Xbox Live mic quality.
With the one earphone thing.
As long as it's way above that, I'm okay.
Or we could NOFODcast pre-planning consisted of everyone having Yetis. Like, it was total overkill. Like, we all need one of these, and we figured out that doesn't work. We need one audio input, and we figured out, and Cesar figured this out on an enterprise level, but one Blue Yeti was enough for the 3/4 of us for every episode, and now it's definitely been enough for each of us individually, remotely, as it were. We should plug our equipment at some point, but I don't think tonight's the night. We'll do that later. Let's get into news. This is the week after E3. Brant, thanks again for building the news. I didn't mean to bring up...
Per the usual.
You're a newsmaster. I didn't mean to bring up eBay. That's not going to help. Marvel's Avengers. This comes from The Verge. Marvel's Avengers has a weird bug on PS5 that puts your IP address on display. And I actually watched video of this, and it was fucked up. Oh, the developers tell PS5 players to refrain from streaming until a fix is ready. Marvel's Avengers got a new patch on Tuesday, but alongside a number of updates, it has added a pretty bad bug on PS5. The game will now show a string of floating text on screen while you're playing, which is annoying, right? That's not what's intended.
Always.
It's always a good sign. Yeah.
And notably, that string includes your IP address, according to Forbes. That means if you want to stream or show any gameplay on Marvel's Avengers current patch, somebody could use your IP address to learn a lot about you, such as general idea of your location. So maybe don't stream that PS5 version. Well, they say
I think as of today, it did
it
get
is
fixed.
out, and they did say that's exclusive to PS5. So for those resellers / what is it like? Are they up to 10 million? Did they hit 10 million yet? Or 5? Was it 5-ish last time I looked? Anyways, if you have a PS5, please don't stream. Avengers, actually, live correction from Brant. They have fixed this. You may now stream Avengers on PS5.
For the like 4 people that are still playing.
And not have your IP address following you around.
You may continue to assemble now.
That's pretty good. The only weird thing I've had happen like this was a watermark. That's what it sounds like, kind of. So that's an unintended bug. But I did play some MLB The Show 21 earlier in the year, and even though I didn't stream it, which I'm sure they were trying to prevent me from doing, it had a watermark of my gamer tag all the way across the screen, like on every single screen. It said it had my gamer tag on it, so that was pretty entertaining. Who wants to tell us about native Xbox games for the cloud? Don't
I'll take it.
everybody jump at once.
So this is from The Verge as well.
Thank you, The Verge.
Basically they've hired. Oh my gosh, I just lost my
place. You put
place.
in the news.
There we go. Yeah,
blame the newsmaster.
Former Google Stadia design director Kim Swift, who was best known for Valve's hit game Portal. I know she also worked on. Oh my gosh, this article keeps jumping on me here. Sorry. She also later became the artist on Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. And she was working with Amazon, but that wound up not panning out. There was an unreleased game.
I see she worked with Google Stadia.
Several.
Yeah. After Google Stadia kind of dissolved their first party cloud gaming stuff, that's how she got out of Google's area. And she was also the studio design director at EA. But now she's going to be working exclusively with Microsoft. They say to build narrative Xbox games for the cloud. I would assume they'd also come to console.
Just for xCloud streaming.
But who knows? They might use it as try to use it as a driving force to boost sales for their Game Pass Ultimate and cloud streaming and things like that.
It's not in the notes, but they did update a bunch of that xCloud streaming stuff to Series X quality games. That was originally like 1S games that were powering the. Is it still called xCloud, or they call it Game Pass streaming now? Isn't that the full title from it?
I think so.
Yeah, because they call it
something like
Game
that.
Pass Ultimate streaming compatible. It's got a long list behind it. We just call it xCloud because we've been trying it out for 2+ years, right? All right. So this is a pretty big get for Microsoft to get Miss Kim Swift.
Yeah, she's been, pretty relevant throughout the industry and been on some pretty big titles that have, done really well.
And it seems like recently her niche is the streaming stuff, right? The cloud-based gaming stuff, not so much a local experience, but seems like she's specialized in streaming stuff.
Yeah, it's a shame that she's been kind of bounced around from project to project here for a minute, but good that she's landed with Microsoft because that's I would say that's pretty solid job security right there because they seem to be booming with their games. And
services
right
and
now.
we're going to say they're the leader in streaming stuff right now at this point, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Between
Game Pass is huge.
Brand, would you say business is booming?
Yes.
Would you say it's swiftly booming? With Kim Swift? I swung and missed. And missed more than suspected.
I took it with the Steelers and Antonio Brown, and then we somehow went to Kim Swift.
That.
So I was like,
those jokes are dead in the water.
Business is booming.
But what's not dead? Possibly.
Brent beat me to it. Cesar, tell us what's not dead and maybe reviving via development at Motive, according to Gamatsu.
Games.
Just games. Games and experiences and services.
I knew they'd come back.
Damn those games! You can't keep them down.
I literally wear this shirt every other couple weeks.
You do.
It's a
we
Dead
like
Space
seeing
shirt.
your Dead Space gear.
I'm a big fan of the Dead Space games. 3 was okay. But apparently, I think this came from Jeff Grubb on his Games Beat Decides podcast, which he hinted at that at the EA Play Live Digital on July 22nd that there was supposed to be a Dead Space revival announced, and this is all from Gematsu Salamano.
We have to wait a month to find out if this is what it is.
Hopefully, this is what it is.
Agreed.
So, because plans can change, so who knows?
It's also, Eurogamer cooperated, and they had some kind of like cryptic tweet about something about reviving a past IP or bringing back an old IP, and something they mentioned the word dead, so people started.
We don't talk about cryptic tweets because we're still on an abandoned equal Silent Hill, and Kojima's running that. So we know that's not true.
The game starts with an S and ends with an L.
You have the developer going on Twitter to say that he's not Kojima. I mean,
that wormhole got pretty deep, right? Was it Blue Box Studios or something?
Yeah.
I think their announcement is in 2 days. I think the app's supposed to be on PS5 where you see what the game's about. So
we'll be talking about that next week. EA Motive, of course, made the October 2020 release Star Wars Squadrons, which was a great game. I highly recommend. And I did not realize the last Dead Space, that SSR mentioned Dead Space 3, came out in February 2013. It's been almost 10 years. That's wild. No.
And they do say that this would be less of a like a remake or a sequel. This is just going to be like a revival. It's going to be kind of its own new game or new take, if that is what we're getting.
1 through 3 are available on Game Pass, so you have those there, and they're on Steam. Yep. Those games are readily available if you need them. So a new take on Dead Space.
They're backwards compatible too.
I was going to say they're backwards compatible. That too.
And so, I mean, I don't know what you do differently with this one, because the first one you were on the ship, the Ishimura, and then you were confined to that ship fighting aliens, and then they took you off that ship and kind of went to the origins in the second game. And then the third game is when they were like, all right, we got to have online components for everything now, and here's a buddy, and that's where it got weird. And then you were on some kind of ice planet.
That co-op's no good?
That was the co-op least enjoyable. Right? Story-wise, it was the worst one. If you just want to go in there and screw around, I mean, you could have literally just made that, I guess, like a Left 4 Dead game and just take the story out. It's that argument where people would make, where you make one component good and the other component suffers because of it. So, like the whole Battlefield syndrome. Right. So they came up with a story, but the co-op component was fun, even though it was hidden behind the online pass that you got to buy.
That was those days. Remember, they were trying to cut down on GameStop's resale policies where you had to have the online pass for like Need for Speed and Dead Space and everything. Uncharted, I think, did that too.
Yeah. But the first one I remember was really, really good. Second one was excellent. Third one I never really got into. So I would like to see some type of a remaster, kind of like they did with Mass Effect, but who knows?
Maybe that's coming. We find out in 29 days, 30 days.
Hopefully I'll forget and just be surprised by in 30 days.
So I'll be like, oh shit, Brant put something in the news. Let's talk about Dead Space again. I thought we just did this.
I'm always happy to talk about Dead Space. I mean, there's that scene when you had to extract the DNA from your eye and you have to put a needle inside your pupil and distract it out. And this day, I still remember that scene. That's like one of the most memorable things in video games I remember. I forget most scenes, but me having to take the needle and put it into my pupil to retrieve the code, and sat there and just, as it drills into his eye for at least a good couple minutes, and just make sure that drill goes in there without killing you, is one of the most memorable things I remember gaming. So
it's making me squirm sitting
I remember in detail to this day. Yeah.
So I have played exactly 5 minutes or so of a Dead Space, and I've downloaded the first one off of Game Pass Ultimate, so maybe I'll have something to talk about that next week. Thinking about diving into that one. I knocked out Mass Effect. That was huge on my list of shame, and the first Dead Space is also on my list of shame. Oh, so hopefully we talk about Dead Space. Hey, we've been talking about Dead Space. That's a good thing, right?
Sure.
Let's talk about the Dead Space that Nintendo's giving Forever Entertainment. Probably didn't mean that. Nintendo to give Forever Entertainment significant financial support and new publishing deal. This comes from Nintendo Life. Several Switch games are incoming, they say. Forever Entertainment SA has announced a new publishing deal with Nintendo, which will see the studio receive financial backing to launch several, quote, games on Switch. Details of the agreement have been shared in a new report filed today, June 22nd, which is as of yesterday. It notes that Forever Entertainment will be granted significant financial support from Nintendo to release several titles on Nintendo Switch. Release dates for these games will be communicated in a separate ongoing reports. They, of course, made Panzer Dragoon Remake. They've also recently teamed up with Square Enix to remake several, quote, games from the same as yet unannounced series. That Panzer Dragoon remake was really, really good. I tried it on Stadia. I've played it on Switch. They know what they're doing. This could be the next Blue Point, right? Do we think they have that type of capability as far as going forward and reviving old IP? I mean, they took Saturn code and made it super playable, and it was true to the, it was, I referenced Blue Point in saying that it was true to the source material and still updated enough to be close enough to that game to be the right thing. We've played plenty of things like that. The Final Fantasy thing that they just announced, the mobile builds, they're a little different from what we're used to seeing. The pixels are a little off, but this seems to be a true to source style studio, right? They have the chops to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you guys think about Nintendo getting in bed with Forever Entertainment?
More games is never a bad thing. I mean, they're already polishing a bunch of games, so obviously they see this as a win-win.
What's next from them? What do you think Nintendo throws to them?
I don't know. I know they're working on Panzer Dragoon 2.
They are
remake.
working on the Zwei.
So who? I don't know. I would imagine that's taking up a decent chunk of development. So I don't know what else. I mean, they're, like you said, they're working on Square Enix titles, or maybe they've got a handful of them all ready to go.
So. I saw an IP renewal for Batten Kaitos recently. Are they? You think they'll? Cesar shakes his head. Go ahead, Cesar. Tell me.
No, because we had a trademark renewal for Xenosaga, and Batten Kaitos is owned by Bandai, so, and they didn't do anything with Xenosaga, so they're just renewing
just to keep it.
It is a Monolith game. They would have to work out a deal with Monolith. I think that's why Xenosaga fell apart, because whatever deal they try to work out, then it fell through. So,
how does that happen? From a legacy standpoint, we are all preservationists at heart. Like, how does that happen? And things fall through the cracks, and we don't get these re-releases like that. It just hurts, right? Like, we still have copies to play, but man, it would be great for a new generation to have these on whatever. It doesn't even matter. Xbox, Steam, PS4, PS5, Switch.
Like I said, put on everything, gives everybody a chance to play it. So I'm enjoying a lot of these 2D fighters that are coming out recently, like the new Melty Blood, and that's also coming on Xbox. It's probably gonna be, the online community is probably gonna be dead, but it's giving an option for people. So I mean, hopefully they'll get some crossplay in there. They bring that to life. Yeah.
All right.
A lot of people in the threads online were like, "Why is it going on Xbox? That community's gonna be dead." I was like, "Hey, man, some people want to play it on there. I'm glad they got it. I'd rather they get it than not get it." So
look forward to more announcements for Nintendo Life. This article specifically says that they didn't nail the landing, but there's been a bunch of updates on that Panzer Dragoon remake since then, and I think they've corrected it.
Yeah, on Switch it was a little rough at first, but there was a significant update that smoothed it out.
Right, so I have faith in the studio. It's not like, oh, they fucked that one up. Don't trust them with anything else. They know what they're doing.
I mean, they got the deal for the reason, so a lot of people feel that way.
Nintendo specifically.
I know Square Enix is probably, since they're big on their Saga and their Mana remakes, they're probably looking at their other stuff to remake. So
I would be too. I would argue they have one of the deepest back catalogs that could be refreshed with a sort of revival that the studio could provide. Nintendo too, right? So
yeah, maybe we'll get Mother 3.
Okay, moving on. Cesar, A Plague Tale: Innocence was one of your games of the year, either last year or the year before. It is now coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and Switch on July 6th from Gematsu. Any other details on that?
Outside of the Switch version is cloud only,
Mm.
which we're going to see a lot of that in the future. So
Yeah.
I like that that's available, but I also kind of hate that. So it's kind of a toss up. But if the game's available, it doesn't matter what the format. I know there are people who do not have great internet like we all do, so I'm kind of thinking of them like they're missing out on this experience.
Yeah. The enhancements will, of course, be 60 frames a second, 4K resolution, 3D audio support, things like that.
Oh, that's a lot of extra
The-
features. How much am I paying for that upgrade?
$1.50.
The thing is, it's the great path to victory that's free.
That's the ultimate path to victory, is it not?
Not like that Tony Hawk's path to victory extra
God.
$10.
Oh, Tony Hawk fucked up with that one. That one's so convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
I popped that into my PS5. I was trying to like update some of those games that have that free upgrade, and I was like, Tony Hawk had an upgrade, right? And I couldn't remember if it was free or not. And I popped it in. It's an upgrade for $10. I'm like,
Did it
fuck
take you
that.
to the store?
think
How did that look? Because I've only ever done the free upgrade.
It takes you to the
Okay.
store, and then it because you have to do a special price to do the upgrade. I think I paid the $10 and just tried it out.
Yeah.
That's
When you
the
pop,
only one on PlayStation I think so far that does the charge
Is
for
it
the
kind of like
upgrade.
buying Battlefield 4 for the PS3 and popping it in the PS4 and paying that thing through that way? Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
All right, Plague Tale Innocence. That is July 6th. It's coming soon.
Which
Yep.
works for me because I just went and went game shopping, and Plague Tale Innocence was one of the games, and literally the next day I came home and saw that news that it was getting an update. I said, well, I guess I know what
Good
I'm playing
timing,
next month. Yeah.
It's also going to add 3D audio, which I've recently been dabbling with on a outside gaming level, and I'm a big fan of. So that's a huge update too. Big fan of the 3D audio. So Plague Tale Innocence coming July 6th to PS5, Series X or Series consoles, and Switch Cloud. Our last bit of news is a bunch of Game Pass games. Who wants to take that one?
Sure.
Cesar
Based
will
off this
take that
picture. This is from Gimatsu for Sauermano. Looks like we have Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts Cloud.
That's a lot
I
of
was
people
laughing.
love that game. I've never played it.
I was laughing earlier because on Twitter they started an argument because they said this was the second best Banjo-Kazooie game, and that somehow derailed the whole Game Pass announcement thread.
What was it behind? Which one was the
and
best
and I just
one?
kept following it for all the fire.
There's only 3.
Yeah.
What was the best one? Oh, there's a GBA one too.
I guess the first one is with the reference. See, it starts with they just put the second one. That way they're just vague, so they can just start pissing people off
Of
immediately.
course.
Mortal Realms, which is coming to cloud and console plus PC. Limbo, which is coming to cloud, console plus PC. Brand's favorite game, which is available today. Worms Rumble from cloud, console, and PC. A really fun game called Gang Beasts comes to cloud, console plus PC.
Game Beast. That seems interesting.
Bug-
It's almost like that studio has another game coming out pretty soon.
Has other animals on there.
Animal Beast.
If you're a big fan of
Gang animals.
Paper Mario, then you'll love Bug Fables. This is coming to cloud.
I'm excited
console,
about this
plus
one.
PC.
This one looks really, really good.
Console and PC is Richard's favorite game from last year, Hot Pursuit.
It was up there. It
Remastered
didn't
edition.
make my games of the year. It was an honorable mention, but it should have been in the top 5. That's a good ass game.
Iron Harvest 1920 is on PC, and then you have Proteus game preview on PC. And I think Worms was today. Iron Harvest and Need for Speed is tomorrow. Proteus, and then July 1st you have the second best Banjo-Kazooie, Bug Fables, Gang Beasts, Immortal Realms, and Limbo.
Mortal Realms. I heard that is Mortal Realms. I like that one. Oh, so it's the Golem game. That Bug Fables is supposedly a very good Paper Mario style game. The art style and everything is on point with Paper Mario.
They said also on there starting today. They said Dirt 5, Double Kick Heroes, East Shade, Empire of Sin, Haven, Octopath Traveler, Torchlight 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon will get cloud-enabled touch controls.
Nice.
I can play the Yakuza game with touch controls. Carefully.
I don't know. There's a back in the day when I went, when everybody was in the place I worked at in the gym, there was always some gentleman who had the world's biggest iPad and would walk on 3.5
I love this
miles
story.
per hour and would have it placed on his treadmill and just sit there and play like Age of Empires or whatever the equivalent was as he was walking. So I would imagine this dude would be that guy who would fire this up and just play touch control Yakuza and have like every one of his 10 fingers on that screen at the same time to do shit. So
how's he doing the treadmill? He's like hoofing it and still doing the.
He's just doing the casual walk. He's like, it's like 3 miles per hour. It's not even super fast. He was more concerned about playing the games on the iPad than he was walking.
Again, we laugh. We make fun of these type things. Again, it's an accessibility option for many, many people outside of us, and it fits that type of lifestyle that Cesar's mentioning, or many others. Like, hey, this guy's going to pretend to walk, or he's going to actually walk, or he's going to run, or whatever it is, and these touch controls work way better than holding a controller, running, that sort of thing.
Hey, he's getting his exercise. He's doing what he needs to do. He's just playing games at the same time. That might be, for all I know, he has a family. For all I know, that might be the only time he has to play games is in that 1 hour of solitude, and that's when he gets to enjoy stuff. So.
I know my posture and exercise level when I'm playing games, so it has, he could be crawling and is doing more than I am, so he wins on that one. All right, is that all of our news? 30 minutes in?
There's also leaving
Game Pass.
June 30th.
Always important. Go ahead, Brian.
Yes. Battle Chasers Night War, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, The Messenger, Mistover, Monster Hunter World, Out of the Park Baseball 21, and Outer Wilds, and Soul Calibur 6.
Those are actually some pretty big games. Usually when we read the leading Game Pass list, it's like, okay, I guess I didn't play that
there's
one.
like one or two that's like,
That's some pretty heavy hitters,
those are
hitters there between Outer Wilds and Soul Calibur.
The Messenger is a great game if anybody hasn't played that yet.
They've got a game coming up. What is that game coming out that is in the Messenger verse? They said it's an RPG, right? We were all excited about it. Oh, now I done messed up by bringing something up.
Yeah.
All right, who's that? Who's the Messenger? Live update here. We're all excited
That's
about
Devolver.
this game. They're publishing it, but who developed that and what is their follow-up game? Sabotage Studio, and they're also going to come out with... It was a good-ass looking game. Who is it? Oh, that's not Sea of Stars. Yeah, it is Sea of Stars. The Secret of Mana style, like Chrono Trigger-esque looking game.
Yeah.
That's them. I think I kickstarted that one. I don't kickstart a lot of games after Shenmue 3 and...
yes, you're talking about Messenger people, right?
Yeah, Sea of Stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that looks incredible.
Because it had Mitsuda. Mitsuda did the music for this one too. Or the main theme he did for this game too. So.
Which is enough for me. I kickstarted that one. I don't kickstart a whole lot of stuff after I was saying Shenmue 3 and
Curse. Wait, what was
Brent's Game of the Generation, Bloodstain, which is getting a sequel.
Bloodstain. There we go.
My favorite one is I had a visual novel I kickstarted on Vita, I think in 2016. They took so long to translate it that they sent me a message saying they had to cancel my version because there was no more Vita games being made. and instead they're sending me the PC version with the adults only patch, and I'm like, that's just not what I want. And
wait, what?
Yeah, now it's in the Rage. So I'm getting the Rage version instead of the visual novel version that I wanted. So now I get the unnecessary sex scenes that I did not want.
Did you get upgraded? Was that not possible in the Vita with the front and back touch controls?
It's called an 18+ patch for whatever reason is built into the game. I'm like, I didn't want this.
Hot coffee. You got the guaranteed hot coffee version.
No, it's not good. I was like, we'll just leave it at that. It's a B shoujo one, so it's not one you want adults only. So.
All right, that's all the news. We've covered the Kickstarters we're both proud and ashamed of.
Look, I bought a visual novel. They're sending me in a Rage, so that's not what I agreed to when I signed up for Kickstarter. So your market may vary. Just be careful what you kickstart people. But then again, But then again, I did kickstart Psychonauts 2, and I'm getting that for my PS4. So
There you go.
yeah,
That's all that matters.
or what they call it. I think it's like Indie Gala, or I forgot what they used, or Fig. I think it was Fig when I did theirs.
Man, that seems like so long ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've also downloaded that one. That's kind of on my list of shame. I want to try that first Psychonauts. It's on Game Pass, I know. All right, ready to get a games played?
Yes.
Of course, I played some Halo. The new season came out today, so that is a 32 gig patch if anybody's down for a Halo Master Chief Collection. So, Brant, you were live updating that last week. That install is now null and void. Make sure you add 32 gigabytes to that install that you just did for Season 7. Welcome to Next Gen Gaming. We go by seasons. You may have bought a disc. The disc is null and void. You now have 18 iterations past that disc. So I haven't tried any of that. It's they recently announced a bunch of the multiplayer additions to Infinite and how that's going to play out, and the fact that you could buy battle passes. They never expire. You play through the seasons as you wish. And I'm used to that. So I'm kind of curious because that's how Master Chief Collection is. So Brant, if you decide to get into multiplayer with us, you start unlocking stuff. You can go back to Season 1 if you want to and throw your points at Season 1 and start unlocking that stuff. We jumped in, I think, on the 4th or 5th season. So we were able to prioritize, okay, we only play Halo 1. I don't really care about this Halo Reach stuff. I'm not worried about this armor. I don't care about this helmet, the gun skin, whatever. So we kind of prioritize, all right, let's throw all our points in something we're actually going to see and use. And even at that, it's just cosmetic stuff. It's just when I get killed with the sniper rifle that I was not able to kill anybody with, someone else sees that skin and picks up that sniper rifle. And there was the Jurassic Park Warhog skin that they had to back out of because it was some sort of copyright issue. They called it, I think it was called Clever Girl. They ended up having to rename it and call it something else because it looked just like that Jurassic Park Jeep. It was a really cool fit. So the new season is Season 7. It's called Elite. It's a 32 gig update. We played some last weekend, and there's still some weird issues with. There's one player, there's 4 of us that play every Saturday, and somebody will get dropped, right? As you're going into the game. And for some reason, Master Chief Collection will count that as quitting. So that player gets a ban. So we'll play this whole round, the 3 of us, and missing that person. So it'll usually be 4-on-3. And then when we're done with that round, we try to invite the person that didn't make it into that game, and we'll be stuck with a ban for that player. Which 343 needs to address these because it's pretty regular. This is almost, if not a weekly occurrence, a bi-weekly occurrence for sure. Someone is going to get booted as we go into the game. So everybody's in the party, we all launch, and then as we're waiting to see the map and mode that we get, we'll see 3 people and somebody will say, "Oh, I didn't make it. I'm not in there. I'm in the main menu." And that person who gets dropped will get a fucking ban. Like, they quit the game. Like, the same penalty that... And it's just off. And it has ruined so many nights of just... All right, we're not going to get in. It won't be the 4 of us. But we've committed this time, As listeners of this podcast will know, that's every Saturday night for me and several people. So what we ended up doing... when these situations come about or we're tired of playing multiplayer or whatever, we switch to campaign, and we're currently working our way through Reach, and I've never played the Reach campaign except for this one playthrough, and it's wild. This playthrough has taken probably 6 months. It's kind of just something we work in. We're not steadily working our way through this campaign. It's just, hey, who wants to play this? And I would say we're halfway-ish through, maybe closer to the end. We actually had a space mission, so all 4 of us were in space, and we were flying. What are those ships called? They're not the major ships in the UNSC. They're called Stingrays or something like Sabers. So they're kind of a short range, like a TIE fighter, I guess, of the Star Wars equivalent. And it was just a space mission. It was like there's an Eve game for PSVR, or the Call of Duty demo, if you played that for PlayStation VR. It plays a lot like that. So I was like, hey, we're playing a Halo campaign. I'm flying this ship around like Star Fox. and that was a good break in the action outside of what we were normally doing. So that was a lot of fun. I played more Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. You guys are right. I'm sure Brant's gonna talk more about this, but that is one of the best games for PS5 so far. If I would almost go as far as to say that is the best game for PS5 outside of Astro's Playroom. But that comes with your PlayStation 5, so just enjoy. But I'm finally to the point where you play as Rift full time. I'm on the island with the Morts, and she mentioned that you were going to go meet Mort, and I guess everyone is a Mort.
Everybody's named Mort.
Every character you meet is like, "Hey Mort, hey Mort, hey Mort." They're all
and
named
I told
Mort
to do this, Mort. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
So that game continues to be really, really good. I'm taking my time with it. It's just it's the one when I have free time, I fire that up. It's really good. That's a good ass video game, and it's just I heard this on another podcast, but they refer to it as comfort food. This is a video game ass video game. You're playing this game for enjoyment, relaxation, fun. There's not a lot of stress to it. I'm never worried about like there's a wall running thing that they introduced me to and I failed it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, how the fuck do I make this jump? And it's just a matter of timing those mechanics, but they even when you fail, this game never makes it punishing enough to fail, which I always like. Like if you're gonna mess up on the mechanics or something in the story or some way that this game plays, it never punishes you for doing that. And Cesar, I have no clue, no judgment. Again, we all play games at our own pace, whatever. I have no clue how you played this on 30 frames per second mode because I tried to back it down to that and have the high resolution, and it's not there for me. It's just me. It's not there for me. I'm playing this on the 60 frames per second ray tracing mode, and this is literally one of the best looking games I've ever played. And it's freaking gorgeous. It's dripping with character. There's never screen tearing. I remember playing that first Ratchet and Clank demo for PS3, and you would just have this like up and down screen tearing where it never quite caught up. I know later iterations did. Same thing with Uncharted when that Uncharted demo came out. I'm panning the camera. I thought my TV was broken because I would see this reset as the screen panned up and down and tore. But I've been in sequences where they're gator looking things. Do y'all know what the name of those enemies are? Kind of the enemies that come after you. They call them Renegoon, I think. Is that the actual name of them?
They're goons.
Yeah, goons.
They just have different types of goons.
Renegoon. Yeah. So these things will be flying at me, and I've had a couple sequences where these enemies are just everywhere. I'm running and I'm dodging in between ammo and I'm running out of ammo in certain guns and I'm bringing up certain things and I'm really good with is it called the splatter shot? It's like the grenade thing that you get. Mm-hmm. I've leveled that up fast because I'm a beast with it. It's almost like you get a certain slowdown when you pull it up, and I can put that thing on a dime and I just toss that thing and it blows up whatever I come after. And it just that game's dripping with atmosphere and character, and it's a Pixar movie, and the SSD is in full force when you're jumping between the rifts, because I finally had a battle where I had to use the rifts. You know, all hell's breaking loose near me, and I pan to the left, and I see that, and I can hit L1 and just fly over there, and all of a sudden, the battlefield has this whole new shift, and I have a whole new way to play it. If I was scrambling with this one weapon, all of a sudden I have a new weapon available in my arsenal and I could try that out and I'm behind people, or all of a sudden I have cover, and I could see this having almost infinite replay value in if you wanted to go through that story mode again in trying out these different scenarios with weapons and things like that. I know, Cesar, you mentioned having New Game Plus, and I can usually when I hear New Game Plus in a game, I'm like, you beat the game. Why are you going back through and trying this out? But depending on like what weapons and stuff they give you, I could see this game really benefiting from that. But
there's an Omega version of every weapon, so it's like a beefier version of the same weapons you have on there. So the challenge, it's like a challenge mode when you go through the New Game Plus. So you'll notice the goons are having they have armor, so they take more shots. That can take
Renegoons. So is there any, Cesar, you made that Mass Effect playthrough for me when you told me dump all your points in charm. that will help you out in so many decisions. And it was almost like cheating the game in that all of a sudden I had these dialogue options open that I never would have had it normally playing and fleshing out the characters as I thought the right way was to play. Is there any tips for this game that are like a catalyst as far as you've seen, or Brant, that you've seen as going forward in this game that would seem to make it that type of playthrough? Or is just Mass Effect broken in that way?
I think the only thing I mentioned was last week where it's all based off weapon preference. So the first thing I leveled up was the Glove of Doom, and because I can call the minions, and it does make your battles when
Oh,
there's a lot going on screen a lot easier. Because then you can just summon a bunch of these little dogs
I
that'll
don't
run
have that
around and
yet, I
just
guess.
attack enemies. You probably
It's
get that maybe in the next couple of planets.
yeah.
After
Okay.
That, so
It's later. Yeah, definitely later in the game.
I just
Weapon.
got this point where I'm playing as Rift almost playing as
Rivet.
Rivet almost exclusively. And there's like this giant dinosaur thing above me, and I just everywhere I pan around I see this dinosaur just hovering above me. And it's one of those like the character is part of the level and you just see this scale, and it has done this so well. Almost like, I won't say Shadow of the Colossus because that is a game all about scale and your character interacting with the scale. But when you pan the camera and look about in this game, it has that same sort of shock and awe factor. I also had my first Clank level, which was like a puzzle, almost like a PSP style puzzle game. And I had this dope. Sorry, he reminded me of the lizard from Star Fox Adventures that sells you stuff. He's like this ghost, chill lizard guy that's just
Gary,
Gary. That's right.
Gary.
He even has a chill
it's like
name.
he's like a he's like a Big
He
Lebowski
is.
character.
Yeah.
He's just hovering there, and the first couple puzzles are really straightforward. It's just like pick this up, drop this there, see that forward. And within that same level, I was just like, it just went crazy. I was like, okay, I got to drop this, I got to pick up that, I got to move here. Those I see more of those in my future, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm hoping there's a spin-off with those style things, because it's almost like, okay, so you go into these segments where Clank is he's trying to correct a timeline, right? Isn't that what almost the premise is? Or he's trying to correct
There's like an anomaly that
he's
pops
trying to
up
correct.
on the
It's a multiverse
Yeah.
game, so he's trying to correct.
That's
the
the right
dimension.
term. So
Yeah.
as you start this mini level type challenge thing, it's wrong. So you see all these infinite Clanks just running and diving the wrong direction, almost like lemmings. That's what I was thinking of when I was playing it. I was like, okay, all the lemmings are going the wrong way. I've got to get the lemmings from where they drop into the house, and there's a certain amount that you have to get, it seems like, for each one. So as you do these puzzles, you either open or close these lifts, or like a speed boost or a jump or something like that, and you open and close these different doors and these lifts to try to get the Clank anomalies across as you're playing as Clank. And it just it was so much fun, man. Usually those things aren't my cup of tea. Like, I don't like unlocking things, or
Did you ever play Ratchet and Clank Future?
I did not. I played the demo of
That's
that one. I didn't play the actual game.
Those type of things were in that game. That's an expansion of that.
I got you. But it's just an awesome side mode to the main gameplay. I always appreciate when games do something different outside of the normal gameplay. You don't want to be too far off track, like, it's not quite a tower defense, or you're not leveling up characters to use in a different mode or anything like that, but it's like these extra puzzles on the side. And apparently within the accessibility options, you can skip those totally, like you don't have to do them at all, but they're completely enjoyable in my opinion. But those are my games played. I played some Halo Master Chief Collection. Friends got booted. When they did, we played some Halo Reach campaign, which is gorgeous on the Series X. And I played a little bit more of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for PS5. What do you guys got?
Mine is real simple. So I'm in this. I guess we're in this week where Scarlet Nexus is coming out on Friday, so I haven't really been playing anything like super important. So I think for me, most of it me is just fucking around. So I think I actually played like 2 hours of Final Fantasy VIII randomly because I'm in that mode where I just fire up one of my consoles and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I want to get into something, and then this game I want to play comes out Friday, and then I gotta stop, and I got into that bullshit mode or whatever. So I don't know what got in my head where I was like, all right, Final Fantasy VIII, here we go.
Out of everything to pick up,
yeah, I was like, I
why
don't know,
Final Fantasy VIII?
It called to me. I think I put like an hour into it because I got to the point where, I mean, you start as it's Leon, right?
Mhm.
Leon, no, Squall.
Yeah,
I'm getting my Squall and Leon's mixed up. So there we go. Ashley's there.
Saint Kingdom Hearts, sir.
Yeah, Ashley's there. Fuck that Frozen stuff. So I'm going through, and we all played this before. It's this remaster is just like it's graphically an upgrade of 8. So as I go through, I get Squall. He's in the medical bay. He's gotten to this battle with Seifer. He's got a scar across his forehead, and then
I know what we're talking about.
Cusis comes through. Yeah, he didn't take long. Cusis comes through and picks him up and kind of gives him the basic tutorials of the game on how it's played. I mean, it takes you to the classroom, you get to the computer, and then you get... This game's weird. It doesn't... I guess this is the weirdest fucking Final Fantasy since
The
Final
computer
Fantasy
has
2.
helped me on every
2 is like...
playthrough I've started, because I always try to skip past that, and I was like, I don't need these tutorials, but it's so deep on those tutorials. You gotta have them.
So, 2 is the weirdest Final Fantasy. I'm derailing a little bit. Because that one is the one where you don't level up in that game. I never beat 2 because I can... It was a pain. Because it's like, you get into battles, and if you attack a lot, then your attack goes up. If you get hit and defend a lot, then your defense goes up. If you use cure a lot, then your cure goes up. There's no levels to level up. Depending on what you use in that game, levels up depending on how often you use it, because it figures you need it. This one is not that bad, but this one is similar into its own right, where you start the game with summons, which they call Guardian GFs.
Yep. Guardian Forces.
And then you get, I don't know if it's Guardian Forces or not.
I think so.
You get, I think, Shiva and Quetzalcoatl as your first 2. And then from there, Cusis breaks down this whole menu system about how you have to attach a GF to you. They give you the draw item and magic or some other abilities, and you have to draw magic. And then you draw, depending on how many magics you have, you can tie to certain attributes in your game depending on the level of your GF.
You can break that, right? Have you ever played through and broken that draw system with the GFs?
Yeah. I mean, if you unlock something, you spam something that gives you up there, you can literally make your attack up to 9,999 and just slaughter in the game. But Final Fantasy 2 was similar that way too, because if you sat there and you just kind of spam your attack, you'll just jump your attack up in that game, and then you can just slaughter in that game too. You just have to be patient with it. It's not necessary in these remaster, because in this remaster you have the ability to turn off battles. You have the ability to speed everything up 3 times, and you have the ability to auto heal and have limit breaks already unlocked every time you do an attack. So if you wanted to just go through the story, wouldn't have to do the bullshit of like that, you could literally just turn it on and just never die.
Is that a decent way to play? Would that be fine to get the story?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're missing anything gameplay-wise. I mean, there's nothing to me that it brings special to the table gameplay-wise that I would like, I feel like it's breaking gameplay-wise. I mean, even when you summon a GF, you have to literally wait for the screen to load, and they have an HP marker, and then they can die before they load up. So, I mean, there's a lot of...
that's worth playing that way.
Because I went ahead and just did the, like, auto heal, and then the triple X speed, 3X speed, and I've gotten maybe 2 hours into the game, and I've enjoyed it so far.
Is that first mission where you're trying to take out that city, whatever it is?
No, I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm at the part where he needs to take the C candidate exam, and he has to qualify for it. So Cusis takes him to the cave, and you have to get free. Yeah. So I'm at that part, and I just went around to Balam Garden, and I'm fucking around with the Queen of Cards. So I'm like trying to get her to do the all settings, so I can just go in there and just kind of mess with the cards.
I love that music.
I think
I can listen to that Balam Garden music 24/7. I love it.
I'm only like 2 hours into the game. So I mean, I told Brian earlier, I'm in between games right now until Scarlet Nexus comes out
Oh,
Friday. So I haven't really got anything deep in there. So
and Mario
outside of
Golf,
that, I did Fire Emblem Ninja Gaiden Master
ooh,
Collection.
which I don't have still.
Uh,
You bragged about having yours last week. I
Oh.
still don't have it. Fuck FedEx. I'll never have anything.
um, outside of that, I fired up the first game. I'm in chapter 5. I've never, out of all the iterations this game's coming out on the original Xbox, on the PS3 and the Sigma series, and this one being a remaster of the Sigma series, I've never gotten past the guy with the nunchucks.
I laugh, but I've beaten him and I've beaten level 2, and then I started the blimp, I think is level 3, and I've never gotten anywhere past the blimp.
So this is the first time I've actually sat and gave it a chance. I'm on chapter 5. I gotten past the
Okay.
blimp. I beat the nunchuck guy. I went into the village when the village was attacked, where they're taking not the dragon sword, but the dark sword, or whatever the fuck that thing's called, from one of the fiends. That the guy's like just a fire inside of a samurai's suit.
Okay.
And then I got on the blimp and I beat that, even with that crazy guy who just constantly spams electricity at me. And I'm like, fuck this guy, as he just throws me to the, like, not only does he hit me with electricity, he throws me across the blimp. So I have to run to him, and then he attacks me again. The whole point in that game is you have to be patient. They expect you to use block a lot and then look for openings and get in.
Right.
And it's fucking hell, man. It's not like you just can't go in there and hack and slash. I think on the blimp, it was to the part where I died so many times that Yame came out to me and described how disappointed she was in me, and forced me to take an even easier option other than normal, which is the one I was playing
Ninja
on.
Dog.
And I was like, fuck it, basically. Where she's like, and then she comes out and berates me, like, you're such a disappointment. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like,
I wasn't
not a holding
expecting
that.
this. I'm
like,
playing this for fun.
Yeah. I was like, damn, making me feel bad that I have to take the easier option. Then it gives me like a pink hairband where it's like, all right, you wear this all the time, that you know that you're playing the easiest
sucks.
option.
That's
So,
not okay.
and I'm like, what? I'm like,
Your
whatever.
headband of
I'll
shame.
go with it. Yeah. That supposedly gives me more souls so I can buy more stuff, but I know what it is.
Is this
I know
the first
what it
Souls
does.
game?
No. This game's cheap. On it, Souls gives you a chance. This game is just sometimes it's just
Are
not
there
fair.
headbands in Souls games?
I don't know. I've literally played to the character creation part of every Souls game, and then I get to like the first 5 minutes and I die, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then I stop playing. So I don't know. I can't accurately describe what a Souls game is or what it does.
Friend of the show,
So, I don't
CJ,
know.
has volunteered to loan me Demon Souls, so I may be trying that out and see how 10 minutes I get into that.
Sure,
Why not?
I got past the blimp. I'm in the town, the town of Vigio. This where he's looking for the sword, and I run into Rachel, the Fiend Hunter, and now I'm playing as her, and she's looking for her twin sister, and she has this giant axe and plays completely different than
She has
Ryu.
giant what?
And giant axe. The way she runs is ridiculous. Like everything jiggles and bounces, and I'm sitting there like,
Her axe?
nobody runs like this. No, just her whole body. I'm like, it is ridiculous. I'm sitting there like, I was like, who moves like this? But whatever. That's neither here or there. It's just really weird. Let's put it that way.
It's physics there.
Itagaki.
That's not even physically possible.
Itagaki-san.
It's weird. It's fucking weird. It doesn't make sense. I'm running around like none of this makes sense. But she's pretty good, man. She's pretty strong. Her axe cuts through the fiends very easily. She's a lot more powerful character. She doesn't have the speed as Ryu, but she has a lot more power. So she's more of the little spammy one. So I think I just play her for that chapter and then I go back to Ryu. That's about as far as I got. Probably like an hour into it. Outside of that, I got Richard's Game of Shame. I put in 2 hours in the Psychonauts.
Nice.
Trying to replay that before the second one
How
comes
are you
out.
playing that? Game
August.
Pass?
I'm playing it on my PS5 as a PS4 game, as an emulated PS2 game. Inception style.
As one does.
I don't know how it looks on the Xbox One. I got to download it on there because I have a physical copy, but I know...
I'm trying to remember what the difference in the builds is on those. I don't remember what the discrepancy is.
But Cat's Works was the one who did the porting
Oh,
of the
here we
PS2
go.
one.
Brant is, for the audio listeners, Brant is holding up the physical PS4 copy of Psychonauts. How is it, Cesar? What do you think? Is it worth me trying out?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's got that little bit that's like a collectathon where you're collecting these little different cards. But when you get
have
these
to,
cores and you
or
add,
it's just a maybe thing?
it's recommended because if you collect the cards and build the cores, it gives you psychic abilities that you need to complete levels later on. But it's
Okay.
nothing that is out of the. Everything that you have to collect so far has been pretty fun because it's not too crazy, and then some of them requires you to do like trapeze or double jump, some little puzzleistic stuff that you get from a normal platformer. So when the game opens up, you start as Raz, who infiltrates this camp for these special kids who have these abilities, which they are trying to groom them into psychonauts. He comes there illegally without his parents' consent because he wants to become a psychonaut. So they find him out, and they found out that he has like the strong mental defense. They couldn't break into him that easily, so he has an ability and gift. But he's not officially allowed to be there. So I think at the beginning of the game, they tell him like, "Well, we called your parents to come pick you up, so you can participate until your parents get
You
here
gotta
and get
get
you."
out of this
Basically, that's the
camp.
premise
We'll
of the
keep
story.
you in this camp until they come pick you up.
Right. At the beginning of the game, they tell them like you're not allowed to participate, but then you're starting to participate in these camp activities. So the first level, I mean, you start on this hub or overworld where like it's like any other 3D platformer where, like I said, you do the collectathon type thing where you collect these different cards and different items. It's not a whole bunch. It's not crazy like over the top Donkey Kong 64 where you're collecting like shit out of shit out of shit or shit out everywhere.
Change
They give you like
Kongs.
3 items. Yeah.
Jiggies and honeycombs and
It's not that bad. They give you
jiggy
like
with it.
3 items to collect, and then there's maybe like 15 per section. It's not huge. So like maybe there might be 1 or 2 where you have to like actually use your brain and like, okay, I got to slide down here, and there's one I couldn't get to because I don't have a psychic ability yet.
What
So
what
they
are
have
the psychic abilities tend to be like? Is it like levitation or psyops? Like you can pick objects up and move them? Like how does that play out?
I can't tell you yet because I haven't gotten that far. I literally just got to the first level where it's kind of introduces the mechanics of the game.
I'm gonna
So
fire
like
this
you
up
go
too.
into. So you end up going to like this drill sergeant where he kind of sucks you into his mind, and he has like his imagination you're going through, and it looks like the Normandy beach, like it's a war.
Boot camp thing with but it's
storming the beach,
like soldiers,
dragon's teeth,
barbed wire.
From there, you learn about double jump, climbing poles. This teaches you the mechanics of all the games: climbing netting, riding rails, similar to like Ratchet and Clank, where you can ride rails. Jump
that's one of my
right.
favorite parts. Please, when I see a rail coming up, I'm like, oh dear God. I'm sorry, Ratchet and Clank again. Go ahead, Cesar.
No, you're fine. I mean, it's very similar to that.
Those are my favorite bits.
So as you go through the levels, you have to collect these figments of imagination, and there's like a certain amount you get for each level. It might be like 70, 72, and they're not difficult. They're just like you just get them naturally as you go through the level, like climbing ladders and whatnot. There might be 1 or 2 that are like you have to actually go get, like jump on a blimp or something like that and jump over and touch it. You have to touch it to collect it. I think towards the end of the level, when you ride in the rails, they kind of jump all over the place, and that's where the ones where you have to kind of like go back for the replay value. If you want to go back and collect them all, you have to go back and all right, I got to ride this other part of this rail and jump over on this side. It's like trial and error a couple times. So the mechanics of the game is taught in there, and then as you go through, you get your first merit badge, which gives you access to the rest of the
woodworking.
Yeah. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm at this part where I've met Sasha 9, I believe, and he wants me to come to his like underground laboratory so he can put me through this experimentation and see how powerful I am. And so now I'm just running through the overhead world trying to locate this next level, basically. So I'm probably about like 2 hours into it. I think the game's, when I look on how long to beat, was like 16 to 18 hours. So I think it's like 9 levels, and they're probably about a couple hours each. So
Brant, you showed us the physical copy. Is this a favorite game of yours?
It's a game that came highly recommended by a content creator I used to watch a lot, and
us.
He said it was just like one of his favorite games ever. And I got it. And about 2 years ago, I started playing it. I probably got to about the same point you are, Cesar. And I don't know, something about the game. I guess I just really wasn't in the mood for it at the time because it just wasn't jiving with me right. And I set it down and I started picking up something else to play.
Some things don't click and some things do.
Kind of forgot about it. So I need to give it another try because like there were parts of it I was like kind of enjoying, and then for some reason I don't know. Like I said, I just think I wasn't in the right mindset or wasn't in the right mood.
For Psychonauts?
Yeah. Aha. See what you did there.
Yeah, I think this is the second time I've played it. I think this is about as far as I got the first time. So it just all depends. I mean, this is a platformer. If you enjoy platformers, 3D platformers,
I've known two people that raved about this game and loved it.
But the story, I mean, that's what makes it different. The story is very witty. You have like kids dying inside people's heads, and they're like, they didn't die. They just got thrown out of my mind. It's like, it'll be fine. And it was like he's like in there. Raz is like, I can't believe you killed them. He's like, they're not dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's like that kind of wit and humor is all through there. So I mean, it seems to be really well done. I mean, we'll see. I'll go through it and I'll beat it. I'm going to beat it before the second one comes out.
I've got it pre-downloaded.
Well, you
myself the second one.
I was going to say you'd have to play that, and apparently the VR game leads into
That's what Cesar was saying last week.
So,
Brant, before you go, I actually rolled credits on another game this past week. I beat another game. Anybody care to take a gamble? Cesar, I know you see me on PlayStation whenever I pop up. No clue. Crickets.
I don't know. I didn't look.
I beat Virtua Fighter 5. One arcade playthrough, but it gave me credits. Hey, I rolled credits. I beat Virtua Fighter. Yep,
that does count.
I played on, if not normal, the one before that, and went straight through. And that is a good ass fighting game. I want to be good at fighting games. I'm still not good at fighting games. I spam the same moves. I want to be good at fighting games. If that's all I had time to do, I would just play fighting games with a fighting stick and get good at them. And that is all my games played. That is all Cesar's games played. And
that's not all my games played. You just hijacked my games.
I thought I was hijacking Brand. I hijacked you.
No.
Hey, he said he wants to play fighting games. I know the perfect one that you and Cesar could play together. Double Dragon.
There we go.
His face just completely changed.
Where are these
not a hold on
at?
it.
Where can I kick off? There's Brant.
It's Cesar's favorite
Cesar,
hold on it.
Cesar, wave
game
goodbye
with
to
fighting.
Brant. He's gonna leave us now. He's not on the show ever.
Hey, say what you will about Double Dragon. At least they're keeping that legacy alive.
They are,
unlike other games.
It is alive and unwell, but it is alive.
Yeah. So outside of that, I know last week I talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. I finished it. That fucking ending, holy shit! That fucking ending.
Still good.
It's good as hell, man. It's not long. It's short. I mean, you can blow through it, in, like I said, in about 5 hours. I got to the part where I beat it, and now I don't know what's happening.
This is the Yuffie part, right? Or you beat the whole game?
Yeah. So Yuffie's at the end of it, Yuffie's set up to where you're gonna meet Yuffie and like you would in the original Final Fantasy VII. That's
She's waiting for you at Wutai.
Took your materia. What was that? What was the port town?
Costa del Sol.
When you have to cross over.
Yeah, she's waiting
before
like
Nibble
out in the desert. Yeah.
It was right around was it Fort Condor, right?
Yeah.
I think that's why they tied the Fort Condor game to her.
What a good game! That first game was Sorry, go ahead.
So this game picks up. You play as Yuffie, then it also picks up after the original 7 remake, and it takes you to the next town automatically to pick up for the episode 2. So I think whatever the next town is, I think that's where Cloud spits out his pass. That's the town we're at right now. That's where it ends. I don't want to give away too much. I wish you guys would play this. There's people who are dead that are not dead in this game. This game is bonkers. It ends off with a character who should not be there, and they're there. I don't know what happened. I
Mewtwo.
don't know what's going on, and they are
Gino.
literally looking for they're literally looking for somebody in their past. And so all this weird love triangle stuff is going to start happening with these characters. It's
Does
like,
it
it's
start
crazy.
with a Z
So,
and end with a AC? Yeah.
it does.
I was about to say
this guy.
it can only be this one person.
It was pretty good. He just walked into this place and like, where is she?
Wow.
He is. This game is so fucking good. His bonkers is so good.
Alternate timeline.
That's why. Well, that's the thing is, some people were mad at this game for changing certain things, and some people said that it doesn't have the same impact as the original game. That's the thing is though, this is not a remaster. This is Final Fantasy VII remake. It's around they're keeping around the same story, but they said they wanted it to be different enough to draw in the older players and excite new players.
Thing, because we talk about this almost every podcast as far as preservation and can we play these games and that sort of thing. You can play original copy of Final Fantasy VII on PS1, PS2,
everything,
PS3. You can buy the digital copy for PS4. You can play that on PS5. Those are available. That same version of that game is available in every single PlayStation that has come out. You can play it on PSP and Vita. So I don't know that you can say that about any other PlayStation game.
You play it on mobile.
You can play it on mobile. You can play it on iPad. You can play it on Switch. You can play it on Xbox. You can play it on Steam. It's everywhere. So this is another take.
It's also when the Windows Store is on everything.
This is another take. So go to town. If anybody's going to be upset, that game has been around for 20 fucking years. Go find another place to play it. It's readily available. It's not one of those, it's stuck on this platform and you'll never see it again and that sort of thing. It is out there. Go find it. This other game is another take for new generation. It's for old fans. It's for new fans. It's for everybody, it seems.
And what's funny is like when you guys play the game, it's like when you look at Sephiroth and you just pay attention to like how he interacts with Cloud. It's like because you got to remember the original one he didn't really acknowledge Cloud until later in that game, like right? Remember
3, I think, when he finally
like he's in there taunting him like in the very beginning of the game, like the whole time, like he knows everything about Cloud, like he's been through this before. He's trying to change fate. It's like he's like he lived that past game, and he's like, all right, I somehow know what's going to happen. I'm going to change it, and that's why everything's all bonkers.
Sense. If you buy into that world and that lore with the live stream and all that stuff, that shit makes sense. He would already know.
Yeah. And he knows. He's taunting him along. He's like, I need you, Cloud. He's like, come on. He's like in the very beginning of the game. He's like, as soon as you meet him in the very beginning of the game and you start fighting.
Did they talk about the
like,
reunion? Is he talking about the reunion at that point? Did they stick with that like they did the original?
You meet the Mako soldiers. They're all around Midgar in this game, and they've lost their mind. It's not the original one. Where in the original game, I think it was just that guy in the sewer who was like, This one is like literally just cloaked men just walking around this all over the different parts of the city, and they have tattooed numbers on them. And it's like they're all part of that experiment, the reunion, all that. He's like everything that we got to Disc 3 before, and you played this game. He's like trying to kickstart it even sooner. So it's like then you have characters. It starts fucking around with time because then you have characters who die that weren't supposed to die. You have characters who are supposed to die that somehow live. It's like it's crazy, man. It's completely different. The game is fucking bonkers, man. The game is fucking bonkers. Oh man, I'm loving it. When I went through, I was like, holy shit.
Let them tell their story.
It's so good. It's so fucking good, man. It's definitely like a multiverse game, man. That ending was so good on that thing.
Our two themes of this game so far, of this show so far, we've talked a lot about Ratchet. We've talked a lot about Final Fantasy. Do you know who voices Ratchet in this new Ratchet and Clank game? Go ahead, Brent.
Are we still in the fetus, guys? Is that what it is?
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I had to look it up. I was like, he sounds like fucking Titus. Who is this?
He's always done it, though.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together, and now I can't unhear it. And I text Brent. Brent's like, wait, what? So then I actually looked it up, and I sent him. It's the same voice actor. Oh, it's Titus and Clank all over again. How does this happen?
I just had never put that together.
I heard it. I couldn't unhear it. Oh, shit. Same voice actor.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, Brent. Go on. Everybody play Final Fantasy VII Remake. Shit's good.
Apart if you have a PS5 or you can steal one.
The free upgrade for that, is that simple? I mean, as far as I know,
Pop in your
I heard
disc.
something weird about you had to like have the PS4 version downloaded onto the PS5, like onto the hard drive. You couldn't have it external hard drive or something like that, or
I don't know, because I mean, I think when I originally went on there, I think I just went in there, added the 5 version. The 5 version is going to download natively on on the PS5 itself, because internally, because it's not going to work on the external. So I
From
don't
PS
think
gotcha.
I don't
from
remember giving the
PS5
issues.
disc,
I
or
li-
that's what Brant's asking, I think.
so literally what I did was I dropped the disc in, created the file as it was downloading, went over to the store, redeemed my PS5 copy, and then uninstall the PS, stop the PS4 install, and let the PS5 copy install. So
Okay,
From
so that's
PS4
good.
disc.
So it's simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sounds
All right. Well,
straightforward. Smart delivery.
smart delivery.
Unsmart
So it should
delivery.
be.
Dumb delivery.
Not delivery, DiGiorno. Uh,
Oh shit.
so I actually finished Ratchet and
Awesome.
Clank. Um, Gosh, it's such a good game. The story, the humor, the weapons, all has the great hallmarks of
Of that
past Ratchet and
franchise,
Clank
yeah.
games. Some of the weapons don't get as crazy. I was waiting for like the Groovatron or something to pop back up. Um, so maybe your favorite weapon didn't make it into the game, but I mean, still, they have a whole, or the Sheepinator. The Sheepinator wasn't
Sheepinator.
in this game either. That was always fun. Uh, but gosh, the every new mechanic, and all the doors that they open for gameplay, it just made this game so good. And like Cesar was talking about last week, and you meet the alternate version of all these different characters, including the main villain, like Nefarious. He's
I
completely
met
different Emperor Nefarious.
Nefarious recently.
Yeah, he's way more competent than
Right.
Doctor Nefarious. And then I mean, you see alternate versions of all these other characters and everything, and everybody's the writing of every character is so good. This, and like Cesar was saying, it leans to more replayability, because what
I don't want to cut you off. I'm like dying
you're good,
because
you're
I
good, you're
forgot
good.
part of my bit. There's a bit where you have to follow the beat to a dance club when you first get
Oh,
into that city, and the feeling in that dual sense,
told
it's
you, this game
awesome.
handles
It's so
mm-hmm.
that haptic
Oh,
feedback
it's
so
so
well.
good. It feels so good when you're trying to find that club, and it's not like, okay, this is what a dance club sounds like. This is what a dance club feels like. You hear it, and then you also feel it through that dual sense, and it has the right tempo and pulse and everything, and it's just perfectly integrated. Well, go ahead, Brent.
Or what about when you find those little what are they? There's like little panels, and Ratchet or Rivet goes up to it and starts typing on it,
Yeah.
and you kind of feel the typing of
Yep.
the keys, and the sound comes out of the
Ah, ah.
dual sets. It's
Next
so
generation,
good.
baby. It
It's
might
so
not be
good.
graphics. It's this. It's the interactivity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that game, it's super good. Anybody that has a PS5, that is right now
Yes.
the
Agreed.
game to have. Um, Other than that, like I said, I went game shopping and got some decent
Oh,
pickups.
what'd you grab?
Oh my gosh!
Let me count the ways.
So I got at one store, I got Near Automata. I repicked up, since I had sold them a while ago. Gears 1 through
Yes.
3,
I love those games.
and the original Crash 4, the true Crash 4.
For what platform?
The
The
real one.
one, the
Okay.
PS2. The one that I completely forgot. I picked it up and looked at it and saw it was made by
The
Konami.
Wrath of the Cortex.
Yes.
The true Crash 4. I like that you add that. Seeing as that made your game
The
of the
true
year, game of the year list last year.
Other than that, I traded in a 1S at a certain
Oh.
retailer and got several games, including, which I had already said, a Plague Tale Innocence, Gang Beasts, Gears 4, I believe. Yeah, Gears 4, Doom 2016, because
Oh my
Richard talked
God.
that up
And I
so
played it on
much.
the worst possible platform. It was awesome. The game was incredible. That as we're talking about Ratchet, like when you encounter these, and Cesar mentioned this last week, when you encounter these gameplay scenarios and they drop you in and there's enemies pouring in and you have to figure out how to jump between the rifts or get behind cover or pull out a new weapon. Doom 2016 is the master at that. It really shines in the variety and the enemy encounters and everything that you'll come up against where you try to figure out how you're going to make it out of there. So
Always keep
Yeah.
moving. That's your only advice for always keep moving.
keep
Never
going,
stand
and
still.
in my
Never.
experience, use the hell out of the shotgun. So, and have a good time. That game, that game kicks ass. And the soundtrack is incredible.
I also picked up Doom Doom 3
Ooh.
VR edition
Yeah,
for PS4.
Not Doom Eternal Blue.
Doom Eternal
And
Blue,
Doom
PSP.
Eternal Blue. Say there was.
Please tell me you got more than 2 games for
and
your console.
no. I got Jump Force as
Okay.
well. Which
Jump Force Gemini.
that leads into I played that.
Yes,
Oh
I'm
my
on a roll.
gosh.
Let's go.
I'm
sorry.
done. I'm announcing my retirement from this podcast. Jump Force Gemini. That rare classic.
I'm sorry, Brent. I'm sorry. It just popped in my head. It was like the
Jump
State
Force.
I'm
Jump
done.
Force.
I'm done with this
Popped in my
podcast forever.
head.
Just popped in there. And I had also ordered, and it came I think the same day as those Panzer Dragoon Orta.
Oh, for Xbox.
So
Excellent.
and those last 2 were what I've actually been playing. I played a little bit of Jump Force with my son because he's excited to see some of the characters he knows from all these different shonen animes. So we booted up and we're excited because we were looking at the character list.
Did you find Russell? I found Russell the one I was playing. I think I sent the photo to Richard and Russell. I found Russell.
Gosh.
Friend of the show. He's in there.
So
I'm in the game.
we were
I'm sorry, Brent. I'm so sorry.
we got into it, and this game has so much tedium. It's first of all, it forces you into like the story of the game, which is basically anime characters are in the real world. There's all the villains have
was it Times Square or something like that?
Yeah,
Times Square. Yeah,
are running amok, and basically all the good anime characters have now formed what seems to be like the Avengers of anime characters, and there's even like a director. He's Director Glover. My kid was laughing at that. I said, "Hey man, Glover was a good game. You haven't played it, so you can't talk bad about Glover."
That's a deep cut bringing up Glover. Who wants the Glover IP?
But like,
why don't we have a Glover remastered?
Who somebody was trying to bring that back. There was a Kickstarter for it.
Really?
Regloved.
You remember that You remember that N64 game I kickstarted that came out that came out on PlayStation that got canceled for 64?
40 Winks.
I think they were trying to kickstart Glover again.
Oh.
I don't know if that ever took off, but I ended up getting that 64 cartridge and everything. Yeah.
Wow. but we were laughing because like the character animation is really janky. Like when he's running, his arms look really weird, and the way he's flailing is crazy. Like you see all
Game of the
these
year.
NPCs walking around. There was one that's called Cloud. He's like, "Hey, Cloud's in this," and
Same game.
you just
Cesar's
see these
playing.
random. Oh,
All right. So I don't want to mess you all up, but
Go
I
ahead.
just want you to know this. They said apparently 2018, Pico Interactive, the ones that did that 40 Winks, their plan was to re-release Glover on Steam and then finish off Glover 2 on 64 as their next
I
project.
thought it came out. Is Glover 2 unreleased? I thought it came out for like Dreamcast
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
unreleased. Because that's why they did 40 Winks. Remember, they go in and fixing unreleased games and releasing them. So
There you go, Brant. Glover 2.
that was in 2018 though. So
Let
I don't
your
know what
child
happened
know
since then.
Glover 2's on the way.
So, well, we finally got to the point where we could go into just versus mode because you have to do it from like the hub of the game.
It's
So we
not
get in
unlockable
there
from
and
the start. You can't just fire up character.
No, it's
PvP.
no. It throws you right into character creation and then the story and then tutorials and
Yeah, but who did you meet first? Because I think I went and met Luffy. Yeah, I know they get you like there's like different areas that's roped off, and they want you to
Yeah.
meet somebody first.
there's like 3 different teams of these anime characters, and that basically determines the move sets, like the special moves that your created character can do. And so there's like you can go over here and meet like characters from One Piece, or it's a team. It'll be made of diverse characters. So it'll be like somebody from One Piece, somebody from DBZ, somebody and basically every area is themed to. There's a pirate themed area, obviously One Piece, a DBZ area for Dragon Ball Z, and a Naruto themed area. And
The Big Jump franchise.
basically, you just have to pick which team you want to join first. And basically that's the whole thing is you like run from this area to this area, talk to this person, then run over here, do this, or run over here and do these missions and stuff, and then story bits will pop up. But when we had finally got into versus and played, to much to our dismay, they only give you a handful of characters. Because we were looking at all of the characters, they were like, oh yeah, Ichigo's in here, and
Guy.
Kenshin, and like all these My Hero characters and stuff like that. So he was excited, and then we get in, and it's like a couple DBZ characters, a couple Naruto characters, and a couple One Piece characters. So we played a little bit of the verses, and it's a decent fighting game. It really is. And then they make you go through the quote unquote story to unlock more characters.
You're all laughing. Is it not good?
Well, it's like the bad thing, and I don't want to derail Brand. It's like that bad thing where like every anime game is always like an arena based fighter. It's like they're never different. It's like they just put a different type of anime in there and make it arena based. So it's like they put you in a large area where you can kind of run around, and then your fight depending on different abilities, like Brant says, depending whatever side you choose. And I mean, because they make you use this custom character, so it's like, I don't know, man. I played it when it came out, and I think I bought it again for the Switch, and I still haven't played it again. And I was like, I don't know why I did this, and it was like $20. I was like, yeah, why not? Let me try it again. And I popped it in there, and it ran even worse than it did on PS4 or Xbox. And I was like, oh. That's why I don't have hope for the Kakarot game for Switch. Hopefully that runs better. So
we're just laughing at the jank. We're laughing at the story because the story is horrible.
Some of the best games ever.
And we're just, we decided, we're like, okay, so we're gonna go through and we're gonna just start unlocking these characters, and we're just passing the controller back and forth. And literally, one of the first characters you unlock is. He's from a really early anime. I can't remember.
Dr. Slump.
I can't remember the name, but it's an early early 80s anime, and it's literally just this dude in like some slacks, a t-shirt, and then he's wearing like a sports coat. And
It's almost City Hunter.
yes, City Hunter.
Yeah.
And so
I was close.
Alan's beating up this dude from City Hunter, and I'm like, you're just like this anime guy, and you just showed up and you're beating the shit out of this pedestrian. You know, what's up with this?
Stop the
And
anime
all of
guy
a
versus
sudden,
anime
like,
guy violence.
but then all of a sudden, like, it goes from you beating on a normal pedestrian to this he's pulling out guns. He does his special move where he like pulls out a bazooka, shoots you with the bazooka,
What is
and
happening?
then like slow-mo out of nowhere, like hits you with a car, jumps out of the car, and like slow-mo shoots all these like barrels that are behind you in this huge explosion. I'm like, what the heck is this dude?
I'm here for this.
That
So-
absolutely sounds like City
chaos.
Hunter.
I'm here
Yeah.
for this.
So as soon as we got back and we could go on missions with extra characters, he's like, I'm picking gun guy. So
Yeah, because he made
got
it,
to
made
play
it all
around
cool
with-
and everything, right? He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was some badass
Get the gun guy.
throwbacks.
so we got, some Yu Yu Hakusho characters and stuff like that. We're probably gonna just run through that together, do the same thing, just because it's hilarious to laugh at some of it. And
Yeah, because they just have Deku in there from My Hero, right? Is it just Deku and Bakugo?
yeah, and the rest of the characters are DLC. There's a lot of characters.
All Might is
they
like
added
DLC,
or
right?
DLC, yeah.
Yeah.
I was hyped about like Yoroichi and like Seto Kaiba, and there's a bunch of other characters, and we looked, and like all of these like super characters that we were hyped for were all DLC.
Yeah.
So-
You just place your card, my Blue Eyes White Dragon, face down.
Is there a
Sideways on
gold
the field.
edition, or is there an easy path to victory to get all that content?
The Switch version is like the deluxe edition or whatever, and it
Season
comes
one.
with with like the first season, so you still have to buy all and like he
2
said,
and
it
3. Yeah.
doesn't run very well. And then other than that, I've played Panzer Dragoon Orta.
You bought the disc, right? Is that what you were saying? Okay.
I did. It's sitting right here behind me because it's still in the.
Oh, look at that!
Xbox.
You got the manual and everything. Yes.
Yes, it was
Was
complete.
it expensive?
Yeah, it was about
Okay.
$40.
Damn,
But
that's fine.
honestly, that's not that bad. I've seen it
Yep.
for a lot more.
It's dropped down since I got digital copies of it now. So
I remember
I've
when
also
the first
got,
Panzer Dragoon was $40. Now it's like 100
know.
plus.
I've also got Rare Replay coming. And that was like
that's a
$12.
must-have. Oh, Brent,
So,
I think I had an extra copy. I could have given you that one.
oh,
That's a must-have.
Dang.
That game amongst one or two other titles sold Cesar and I on the Xbox One platform. We were like, we have to have this.
I needed to play Jump Force Gemini and the second best Banjo Kazooie.
and they're all on there, and the
Yeah.
Viva Pinata games.
Yeah.
Where does order rate on Panzer Dragoon games since you're rating all these franchises?
Oh, Orta
It's got to be up there, right? Yeah.
It's up there. It's
and you're
it's
playing on
so
Series
good.
X, right?
Oh,
So it's fucking
yes, I'm playing on
gorgeous and
Series X.
flawless.
It's this is a game I never had an original Xbox.
Careful, Brant.
And this game
You
is
still don't?
beautiful.
Yeah.
But original Xbox? Mm-mm.
Okay, we'll have to fix that.
I was about to say you've got about 20,
Ish.
don't you?
Until they start bleeding internally.
Yeah, I was about to say yeah.
We
until
need to
those
clean them. We need to have a
capacitors
cleaning.
start leaking. About to say yeah. You need to have me and Cesar over, and we'll just sit there and go through all of them. Okay, John Travolta.
Me waiting for the Xbox clock capacitor cleaning party. I'm ready. Let's go, bitches.
I like being able to switch, between all the different like styles, because they've got the heavy wing, light wing, and gosh, I can't remember.
Oh,
like Speed or
That's
something.
the thing about this podcast. I had no clue coming into this episode we would be talking about Psychonauts and Panzer Dragoon Orta, and that's why I love doing this every week. It's literally why I love it.
But I love this game. It looks so good. It's one of those too. It's like, wow, this was an original Xbox game, because it looks so good and it plays so smooth.
This is in that argument of
but
like
that could
Dreamcast
be
2 quality stuff, where you had a new Jet Set Radio, you had Super Monkey Ball, which probably shouldn't have been, which would have been a Dreamcast title. You had Panzer Dragoon Orta. There's a couple more. Smallbit made a couple more of those games. But the Xbox is literally a Dreamcast too.
Yeah, there's Shenmue 2 and where was it?
And I can confirm, I just fired up Psychonauts on Xbox. It looks way better.
That's the one to go with?
I literally just fired it up just now, and it's night and day. Yeah.
Cesar said it first. Go with the backwards compatible, forwards compatible.
Well, it's those PS2, PS4 classics. It's got that Vaseline sheen on there, and it looks sharp and crisp on the Xbox One. So I'm just saying, if you want to play it for looks, it looks a lot better
on Series console.
Yeah. I did it on the Series S, so I don't know how it looks like on the Series X.
Probably
so
comparable.
You have to figure that out.
I think they're pretty close backwards compatible wise.
Yeah, I'm putting out max 1080p on this monitor, so
it probably looks damn good.
And I've talked about it. I think I mentioned it last week or a week before when we said something about Psychonauts, which was last week. Yeah, with the E3, that something about the PS2 port just didn't ran slower, or there was something with the development of it that there were certain parts that just didn't run right on the PS2. And I've always heard that the Xbox version of that game ran a little bit smoother.
I mean, Double Fine handled that version. That was why they gave it to another studio for that PS2 one.
Smallbit also made Gun Valkyrie. That was the other title I was missing for the original Xbox. Gun Valkyrie.
Yeah.
But this, after Panzer Dragoon Saga, Orta kind of went back to its roots, and this game it's so solid. It still has that same feel from 1 and 2. And seeing all these enemies, a lot of the enemies look similar or are the same, and they're I'm used to seeing that polygonal
32-bit
bug thing coming across. And I mean, I still love that game because that first game is the gameplay is solid. The soundtrack, the soundtrack is just it's absolutely amazing.
Rest in peace, composer of Panzer Dragoon soundtrack.
But this, I mean, it definitely is up there. It's so good. It's so good. I'm playing through stage 4 right now.
Is the save system a little better on that one versus the originals? Yeah.
The original, it's literally you play through it. Gosh, I've played through it several times. I
damn it,
don't remember if you have. I don't even remember if the first one has like a password system. I'm pretty sure it's just like straight arcade style where you
game
play
over
it and you beat
back
it
to
or
level
you
1.
Give it up. Yeah.
Game over, yeah, like Sega Rally. Game over, yeah.
Is this a Sega episode at this point?
It sings your death. It sings your death to you.
But gosh, there's gonna be a time where we have to, I don't know, we have to stream or something. We have to go and do some Panzer Dragoon stream and at least do Saga or something. Richard, I know you have
waiting to play. Somebody just play it with me.
I've got it behind me,
and play it.
But it's I've got it behind me, but it's in Japanese. So.
We would have an easy box to stream it from if only it ever came out.
Don't you do it this episode. Don't you do it. We're not going to derail. We talk games. We talk good platforms. We don't talk bullshit on this podcast.
Fair enough.
So how crazy is it that you can? You're getting the best version of an update of a Sega Saturn franchise, right? because that should have been a Dreamcast game. But you're playing like the best build of that out of who was asking for that? No, I mean, I'm sure there was thousands of people on the internet that were asking for, please bring Panzer Dragoon Saga to, or Panzer Dragoon Orta to backwards compatible. But now you have a Series X, so it's more than what was being asked for, and it's just playable. Either you pop a disc in or you buy. I think I bought a license for it on top of the disc that I have. It was like $5 at one point. And Prince of Persia: Sands of Time was another recent example. It's like $3. Like, we can play this classic in its best possible version, and it's still, and that platform is new, so we're good at least 4 or 5 years in the future playing the best version of that game. And they're doing a great job with that backwards compatibility and keeping those legacy titles going forwards. Also need to fix your don't have an original Xbox issue. That's bugging me. And you need one. You need one hooked up to that CRT ASAP, and I will be fixing that.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of original Xbox titles that are not backwards compatible.
They've done a great job. That argument gets harder and harder the more they go forward. We talked about on this podcast the Wii U to Switch. You gotta have a Wii U. It's got this and this and this and this and this, and that argument's getting worse and worse. They're almost doing the same job.
It's like Nintendo Land and one other title. I can't even remember off the top of my head.
What was that? Oh yeah, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I'm gonna throw Metroid Prime Trilogy in there too, because that digital copy is $20 on Wii U. That's a killer. I mean, you could put Metroid Fusion in there. The Metroid subreddits are all full of, I gotta play through all the Metroid games before Metroid Dread, and people are trying to discover where to play those games at now. That's when that shit comes important. We talk about week in and week out, and you probably get tired of hearing us say, I have a physical copy of that, or I have this on that, and I've got 2 copies of this for PS2 and PS3. This is where that shit comes important, because a new Metroid game is coming out, Metroid 5, literally. Where can I play Metroid 1 through 4?
5. We did it.
Did it.
We skipped 4, went to 5. That's what
Force
I thought
Fusion.
happened.
They said Force Fusion, and that's what is in the boot up.
No, I'm laughing because I thought it was Prime. Prime 5. I was like, yes, we skipped 4, went to 5.
Again.
That's what we wanted.
I think that was everybody's first reaction, because he's just like, Metroid Prime 4, we're still working on it, but we're going to show you this, and then it just goes Metroid 5. It was like, okay, so we're skipping it?
Panzer Dragoon Orta 6. What?
It was like that tweet I sent you, Richard, where they were like doing all the announcements for Nintendo, and there was like 8 different versions of Splatoon 3, and it just skipped Splatoon 3 and went to Splatoon 4. I was like, what the hell is Splatoon 4 doing on here?
Which announcement would you be most excited for? Splatoon 4.
That was on there. I was like, 3 didn't come out yet. We're just skipping and going to 4.
It was getting votes. Splatoon 4 was getting votes in the poll.
Oh man, it's my new favorite thing now. Every time I was like, we'll just skip this one, go to the next one.
Sure.
Let's go.
You bitches haven't got Splatoon 3. It may be it may be the Devil May Cry 2 of the Splatoon franchise, and totally make a left, or Zelda 2. You have no clue, and you want Splatoon 4.
Breath of the Wild
there we
3.
Go.
Skip 2, go to 3. Let's go.
Because there's no Breath of the Wild 2. They're going to call it something else, because the subtitle is going to be a spoiler for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's probably not be called Breath of the Wild.
Legend of Zelda. Zelda dies. That's all I could think of when they said it spoils the story. I was like, what else could you put out there? Link fails again.
Oh yeah, I don't know what's happening. It's like some kind of weird hybrid. He's coming through portals in the ground. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this trailer?
He had short hair. We never saw his face. That might not be Link.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It had long hair, and the hair was like flowing. It was, I couldn't tell.
All right.
I don't know what the hell's happened. They could have fused and did Fusion Hall like Dragon Ball.
On the Zelda note, I found this channel today on YouTube. It's called Beat Old Games or something like that, or You Can Beat Old Video Games. This joker beat Zelda 2 in 1 hour and 8 minutes, and I watched about 30 minutes of the playthrough where he's like, go here, do this, go here, and he doesn't fast forward or anything. It's just a straight playthrough. 1 hour and 8 minutes. He knew exactly where to go. You don't get lost in the go find this note, bring it to this person. Joker beat Zelda 2 in a little over an hour, and I was super impressed.
Wow.
I've never beat that. I don't think Cesar has. Brant, it sounds like you haven't. I would love to do a play. We need to play through and do that Nintendo Switch share thing and beat Zelda 1, all of us together. Because it's been probably 20 years since I played through it. Cesar, you never beat it?
When I was like
Brand, have you
3,
beat the
maybe.
first
I don't
Zelda?
know.
I've played it several times. I don't even know if
There
I've
we
ever
go.
beaten
We could do
beaten
this.
it. I've gotten majority of it, but I've never
We could
beaten
do
it.
this. I have the OBS build for the Nintendo Share. We could do the controller swap thing. We could swap in and out. We
That
can make this happen.
literally goes against my rules that I only play Final Fantasy VII remakes that they just keep remaking for different consoles. So.
So you need a Zelda remake inside Final Fantasy VII. You need Cloud to walk up to a bar and play the arcade game of Zelda of the first Zelda remake.
Sure, that's how I play Time Splitters. It's through my home front.
Zelda
So.
Zero Mission. Did you try out that Time Splitters?
I own all versions of Time Splitters. I mean, all Time Splitters of
Yeah.
that Homefront game. So I could.
Yeah,
I just
I
haven't
want
done
to
it
also.
yet. So
Brent, you played anything else?
That is it. I'm
We're
good.
closing in on the hour 48, our bewitching hour, and it's the start of the fourth quarter of the Hawks game. Go Hawks! Oh, you guys got anything else you want to add?
yes.
Nope.
No, I can't think of anything
Ladies
else.
and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this latest iteration of NOFODcast. We appreciate it. Join us next week. Same time, same bat hour.
Maybe.
Thanks again for joining us.
You never
With
know what
less
happens.
Windows
And Windows
updates.
updates. Fuck those Windows updates. Or just make sure that you don't set it to shut down and restart or install and restart. Just kind of skip that through. Or use a Mac like Brant does. Then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think what's funny is I don't want to. This is the last thing I'm going to say before we finish. Is like I had to update somebody's Mac at work, and literally the update was so Civ 6 can run properly, and that's what it said in the Mac update. I'm sitting there like
this is my kind
I
of
got a
update.
call from this guy. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I keep saying I need to update. I need to update. So it must be super important." I looked through in the update notes, and it's like Civ 6 sometimes crashes, and I was like, "This is inside the Mac OS update."
Apple
whatever
decided we need to roll out an
version it
OS
is
update so Civ 6 continues to run on our platform.
Civ 6 is so freaking important that they have to put it in the system update. I'm sitting here like, what the hell am I reading? And I'm like, this what's funny is I didn't even tell this person like you're freaking out about a Civ 6 update that you don't even have on your computer. So I was like,
That's great.
okay.
That's great. All right. Thank you guys for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Goodbye.
Adios.
See you.